Okay. If we'll all stand up, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for being here, and kind of a beautiful day overall. We'll try to go through the agenda as quick as we can. I know we've got a few people who have some meetings tonight after this and maybe need to go out. So we've got enough. We need to have the agenda. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Thanks, Tom. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks. Brent, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda approved. I don't see any communications to the board. So this time, if you should have received your consent items by email late last week, and there is a few extra additional invoices here to review over if you haven't. And Joe, do you have any comments or?
Revenues versus expenditures, which is the spreadsheet with the red band at the top. Our expenses are $10,741,000 to date through January. Last year at this time, about $800,000 more than that. Our revenues to date, $12,314,000, which are about $300,000 above last year at this time. Those are both expected. We would also expect our expenditures to run less than our revenues at this time. That'll all balance out. We do still anticipate to operate in a deficit this year, but these look good. You know, maybe it's a little bit less than what we thought, but everything looks good. We also track these on a month-to-month, looking at projections throughout the year. Our projections do show a deficit that Lisa and I were looking at last week. It's just a matter of, is it 300,000 or is it a little bit more than that, or where it ends up? But finances look good.
Great.
There's also the side fund, which is in the cash and bank. That looks like this. No, that's not what I wanted. Monthly ending fund balance.
Yeah.
Which looks like this. Always like to look at our insurance side fund, which is towards the bottom, currently at $1.9 million. A lot of that in investments, most of it making money, the rest in cash in the bank. That's went down slightly this year. We anticipated it going down maybe a little bit more than it is, that's a good thing. We do know, and I'll talk about this more in my report, that our renewal for insurance is really high for next year. So monitoring how much we are actually utilizing in our side fund this year is an important part of the plan decisions we make in our insurance for next year. But that is a very, very healthy side insurance fund. 600,000, probably 650 would be the absolute lowest that could ever go. We really would rather, 1.3, about twice that is. We don't really want to go below that, but it looks very good at this point.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Hearing none, we need a motion to approve the consent items.
So moved.
Thanks, Todd. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Brent. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent items approved. We'll go right into your report, Joe.
Yep, a couple different things here. First, a lot of legislative updates. I'm going to talk about SSA as well as some other bills that are out there. First, involving SAVE, which SAVE is the 1 cent sales tax that exists in Iowa, and it's distributed to schools on a per pupil basis. Some people call it the revenue bonds as well in relation to SAVE. We use SAVE to bill. We have a SAVE debt right now that's just under $20 million. The field house is part of that. The Gateway was part of that. The property tax proposals that are out there, Governor Reynolds' proposal is to scoop 30% of that save, 30% of that 1 cent tax over about a 5-year time period. The impact of that for us, at 20%, if we would lose 20% of our save, we would default on our loans, as would 28 other districts in the state of Iowa. At 30%, we would certainly default, as would 50 other school districts in Iowa. So that proposal would be devastating, not only to schools, but I would argue financially in the state of Iowa, as there's many, many banks that are involved in probably each of those revenue bonds. So important to continue to advocate. All three, there's property tax proposals from Governor Reynolds, from our Senate, and from our House. They're all very, very different. They all impact schools in different ways, some not very much, and then much more like the save would impact us.
So what would happen if a school defaults on a loan? I mean, in the
Yeah.
private sector, you lose your house, your car, or whatever, but
Yeah, it's a really good question, Todd. I doubt there's any examples out there. Maybe they would, right now, it says that we pay for that with SAVE. If they would allow PEPAL, then you use some different funds to pay for it. I think those are some examples. Lisa and I were at a finance course this December where Matt Gillespie, who many of you know, he's talked with us on our finances before, talked about maybe the state takes on your debt because they're getting all that other SAVE dollars. It's worth it to just take it on. So they wouldn't get a lot from our SAVE dollars. They'd just pay for our debt. But the district next to us who doesn't have a revenue bond, they get all that money. So it might be worth them to just take it that way too. So I think more to come on that.
Are the banks aware? Are they advocating?
I'm not sure. I asked that question. I asked it of Matt as well. But I think they would be advocating hard for SAVE not to be, and not only banks, also builders, general contractors. Because if we don't have this mechanism to build in schools, it's really hard.
You're bonding everything, right?
You'd be bonding everything, right? 60% majority to build anything from that point.
there was talk of bumping that up to 80. Is that gone anywhere? I just heard mention at one time. I don't know.
I haven't seen it with a lot of traction. I have seen also, it hasn't had a lot of traction, but that you would have to have a 60% vote to use your safe also, which I think would be devastating for schools. SSA, that's the amount increase we get in our per pupil funding for each year. The proposal from Governor Reynolds is 2%. The proposal from the Senate is 1.75%. Honestly, if we're not somewhere between 3 and 4 as a district, we're losing money. And you can see with all of the things we're doing as a district to make adjustments in our budget for next year and for the year following, much of that, some of it has to do with our loss of reorganization dollars. A lot of it has to do with just year after year of inadequate funding that you just can't continue to keep up. In the state of Iowa, we have less students attending school this year than last year, like 7,300 less. So what it cost to fund education next year is drastically less than what it is this year. So if they gave no SSA increase, that would cost $80 million less than what they're spending on education this year. If they gave 1% increase, that would cost $20 million less than what they're spending this year. If they gave 2%, which is really only a 0.6% increase, that would be $23 million more. 3% would be $76 million more. 4% would be $130 more. Last year they gave $134 million. So even at 4%, that would be less new money than what we received the previous year. Also state law that when it comes to negotiations, there's a consumer price index that you have to be at that or above. That's currently at, I think, 2.8, or 3.1, and going to be 2.8. Either way, around 3. But we have proposals to increase our funding 1.75. And those numbers they just don't align, and it's created a lot of funding and financial issues. Not just in Algona. These aren't Algona only issues. These are public education issues. Tying into that, our health insurance update. Last Monday, Lisa and I met with our insurance brokers, Holmes Murphy, for our renewal. They brought to us the Wellmark increase of 25%, which is an $825,000 increase for us. With our new money for this year will be $115,000. Again, those don't align very well. So significant changes are going to need to be made to our insurance plan to reduce that $825,000. We have not increased our employee contribution towards insurance in the 7 years that I've been here. So the $834 per month that goes towards our employees' health insurance has stayed the same. Now, our insurance has increased. We've absorbed that as a district, or we've changed plans as a district, and we've increased deductibles as a district. We've done a lot to absorb, which is the beauty of being self-funded, is you have the flexibility to handle those things. But $825,000 is a different number. That's a number that will require drastic changes that we're continuing to explore how we can do that. What are those adjustments? Holmes Murphy, that's what our broker does. They work on those plans, they work on proposals, they work on how we can offset those costs. They're preparing those for us now. We're meeting with our insurance committee, which has representatives from all areas of the district, all buildings, all our different classified staffs on Thursday to look at some of these different plan options. If we would increase our deductible to $1,500 from $750 that it currently is, that would cut the increase down to like $380,000. So we've gained not quite $500,000 in that amount, which is great, but we're not there yet. We'll also examine some plan changes that could require individuals who remain on to contribute monthly, and we'll also have to look at new money contributions to insurance, which that comes from salary increases. So those are always tough decisions that we have to make, and we want to make changes that impact our staff the least amount and give them the coverage that they need, but we have to balance that out some way. Preparing for our 27 budget. As I mentioned, the governor has recommended an SSA increase of 2%. Again, Lisa and I, we've been working on our budget. We have it in place. We are looking at a tax increase, although we believe we'll be able to recommend to you one that's limited in regards to what's happening. Our uniform levy, which every school district in the state has a uniform tax rate of $5.40 per thousand. Ours has not been $5.40 per thousand for the last 4 years due to reorganization. It first goes to $1, 50 cents, quarter, and so on. That will go to $5.40 next year. That's not something we have control over. That's what happens. That's 12 cents in that increase. Also, we'll need to increase our cash reserve levy as our special education debt is too large, and we need cash to offset that. Again, that comes from lack of funding. So those two things together look like about a 6% increase, or 33 cents, somewhere in there. We'll bring all that information to you in much more detail in our March meeting. We're really excited to talk about some things that are going on in our band program. The Algona 6th grade band and the Algona High School band have been selected to perform at the Iowa Bandmasters Association Conference, which is really the highest honor that they can they can achieve. If you remember, our 7th and 8th grade band got chosen last year. So there's only 3 levels that can be chosen: 6th grade, 7th and 8th in high school, and in a 2-year time period, Algona bands have swept all 3. So that's pretty awesome and something to be really excited about, and we're very happy for everyone involved there to have that experience. In some of those cases, high school, there's classes, and in middle school there isn't. That's just our 6th grade band being selected as the best band in the state, as our 7th and 8th grade was last year, which is really, really cool, and something we congratulate all of them on. A lot of stuff there. Give you a lot of different angles. Any questions on from legislation to SSA to health insurance? But we ended with the best part, cool things that our kids are doing.
When do we vote on our property tax? We're bringing that in March. Do we vote in March, or is that
No, March will be information only. Then we have another public hearing end of March, and we would vote to approve in April.
All right, any other questions?
Congrats to the band kids, they work hard.
Yes.
Yeah, very hard.
Very good. Congrats is right, so. All right, no other questions, then we'll move on. We do not have an administrative report tonight. We'll just move right into old business, second reading.
Yep, old business, approve our second reading of board policies here.
Anything to say on it besides?
I'm reloading here.
Reloading? All
Okay.
right.
We have the credit and procurement cards. No changes to that, to board policy 40110.
All right, we just need a motion then for approval.
I make a motion to approve the second reading.
Thanks, Tom. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Andrew. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Second reading's approved. We have some first readings to start looking at.
We do. In the 200 series, the oath of office, 500 series, open enrollment transfers, and then some 400 series. All of these, there's some slight language changes that come from the IASB recommendations, but no policy changes in action, just some slight language changes that we will recommend for our second reading in March.
Okay. Taking some time to look those over when you get a chance, and we'll talk about them a little more next month. Looking to set a public hearing date for FY27 budget.
Yeah, this is a question that Dr. Owen asked at the March 9th meeting. That's when we'll go into great detail on our budget for FY27, talk about some proposed changes and proposed levy levels. Again, that's just information only. And then we also need to set a public hearing date for our FY27 budget of March 23rd. And this would be a budget hearing only, no meeting, nothing else with that meeting. And this is part of new legislation that happened a few years ago. So I would recommend a special meeting for budget hearing on March 23rd at 5 p.m.
When is the legislation supposed to have decided on the increase?
Well, legally, any day now. I don't think we're past it yet, although they seldom have it decided within the legal.
Right.
Yeah, they blew way through that last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well past when we were setting our budgets, if I
Yeah,
remember
for
correctly,
sure.
right?
Every
Yeah.
year, they miss the deadline.
That's a problem. I just feel like they could simplify the process and align what our increase with CPI, and it just happens the first week of legislation and we move on. But that's not where we're at right now.
So we would kind of anticipate potentially similar, which is we're going in a little blind.
Going in a little blind, the models, or the budget we have made and our models that forecasted, we have them set at 2% SSA for next year.
That's what the governor recommended in their speech.
That's what the governor recommends.
But
2%, we will also be on the budget guarantee. So whether we get 2%, 175, or 0, our increase will be the same. It'll be $114,000. Because our funding for next year will be 101% of what we have this year because we have less students. So they have that guarantee in place so that when you do lose students the following year, you don't have to operate with less money. So you have the budget guarantee resolution in place, so.
But then it potentially could drop.
Then it could go down significantly after that. Also, whenever you have an SSA increase, it's not just for the next year, it's built upon through all of those years. So even though it doesn't affect us the same way short-term, long-term, it certainly does.
Okay. All right, so March 23rd is what you're,
Yep, we need a motion to approve the
I'll
special
motion to
meeting.
approve special meeting March 23rd at 5 PM.
Thanks, Brent. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
That's,
Thank you. Lana? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Special meeting approved. Looking to approve a foundation board member.
So the March meeting at 5 o'clock, though, we're gonna have to make sure we have a quorum.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
all right,
But
Monday, March
I can't always
23rd
get off
at
at
5.
5, so
yep.
as long as we have a quorum, that's okay. It's just,
We'll confirm for sure, but
Yeah.
yeah, we'll at least need 4.
And I also need that to go in the paper on the 6th, I think.
Wow.
So if we don't have a quorum, we gotta start over.
I did look at this ahead, it'll work in my calendar.
I've got it on mine.
it'll work, and I'm here.
Okay.
We should be okay.
Okay.
The Algona Foundation Board Member, this is an annual appointment by our board. It's a different member each year, and this appointment takes place because the Algona Community School Foundation is not a private foundation, so it must have a certain number of board members approved by this board, which is its supporting public organization. The foundation member we're approving this year is Jeff Knapp, so I recommend the approval of Jeff Knapp to the Algona Community School Foundation.
I make a motion to approve Jeff Knapp.
Thanks, Andrea. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Brent. Seems like a logical approval, or improvement, but any further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Jeff approved. Looking at approving extensions for fixed price agreements.
Every year, since we've adopted a food service management company, we have to approve our fixed price agreement with Tahoe Food Service. Now, this is not tonight we are not approving a change in our lunch prices for our kids or staff. This is just a simple increase in the agreement between Algona Schools and Tahoe based upon the reimbursement. So that 4.1% is the maximum that the reimbursement can increase. So we increase our agreement the same amount, which really that then gets split between what we have and what gets sent to Tahoe. So as reimbursements can increase, we increase that agreement to reflect that. This summer, as we always do, we'll look at our food service lunch prices, breakfast prices, and so on. We approved those last year, so hopeful that we won't need to make that increase again for this year.
Any discussion or questions?
Do we get to see the results of the survey? Or does that go straight to Tahoe?
It does go straight to Tahoe, but she shares that with me, so
Okay.
that is information we can certainly see if you want me to get that.
I just wondered how it came out.
Guess it wouldn't be bad to see it if
Nope.
even on our weekly updates or whatever.
Yeah, I'll get some of that information to you guys.
I did ask the little guy that comes in, and he's my intern.
Mhm.
I asked him about that. He says, way better. That was his comment. One more
Okay.
choices, and it's way better, so.
Well, good.
I think
So, I don't know.
portion size is always something that is common discussion, which isn't something we really have control over. There's some options that students like better than others, no doubt about that. But I think finding those out and knowing that is helpful to us. So to have something that comes back that's widely not liked, it's not happening as much.
Right.
So that's good information to have, but I will get some of that information to you.
All right, we need a motion then to approve the extension of the fixed price agreement.
So moved.
Thanks, Todd. Do we have a second?
Second the motion.
Thanks, Tom. We have motion and a second. Any further discussion?
So it doesn't, we're not voting on changing the price, but the 4.1%,
This is our agreement with Todd.
Yeah.
but they are increasing the price.
The reimbursement will increase, which means they get more, so we increased our fixed agreement with them, right?
So we might have to increase. I mean, we probably won't, I would not be in
Yeah,
favor of that, but
yeah. Yeah,
we're paying more as a school.
but we're getting reimbursed more. It's pretty much split down.
It's kind of, it's a pass-through
It
essentially.
is, it is.
Okay.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Extension approved. Approve the track and football field light replacement.
We have updated our lights. We put new lights on the baseball field a few years ago. We put new lights on the new softball field when we built it. The remaining exterior lights that we have not updated are the football field lights and track lights. This is something that Jeff Gish has built into his budget for a number of years, so we knew this was coming. He has received bids from Dean Meyer Electric, with each of those bids containing different products. The first bid from Dean Meyer was for $230,000. The second is less and will be the recommended bid at $189,000. And the third bid was received from Musco Lighting, ranging from $220,000 to $230,000. We have Musco Lighting on our baseball fields, and they're fantastic. Although the lights that we would be installing, that Dean Meyer and his group would be installing, are also in Yankee Stadium. So it's not like we're putting in an inferior product. It's just it's a different brand product at this time. All bids include the same amount of candles. They're all updated to LED. The venue is the last outdoor venue, like I mentioned, to be updated outside. This is our last one. The current lighting that we have on the football field was installed in 1992, and the new lights would have a 10-year warranty and have some features that include instant on. You don't have that warm-up phase, flashing and fading. It can be controlled. If you we played football somewhere last year where they flashed them when they scored, maybe MOC or something like that. So that's become a thing that happens now, and that can be controlled from a phone. So Mr. Gish has worked hard on these. He recommends the bid from Dean Meyer Electric for $189,000. We do a lot of work with Dean Meyer Electric locally, and it's certainly someone we trust to do what's best in our facilities.
Do we anticipate a cost savings? Did they run those numbers on the new lights versus 92?
I don't know if they ran that, but with LED, I think we would for sure.
Longer use.
Yeah.
Not $189,000.
No.
No, but
And there
Little.
sometimes is some rebates. I know when we put LEDs throughout the schools, we receive some rebates in doing that, so that.
Are the other ones just old and we're anticipating them going bad, or are they just not adequate anymore?
Yeah, they're dark. When you really can tell is if you turn those on when either our baseball or softball are on, there's a distinct difference between the two. I think they've had to do some repair in the last few years. Dean Meyer does that repair for us, and certainly in fear of that just continuing.
And this will come out of the Pebble Fund?
Pebble, yeah, good question. Not general fund expense, Pebble expense. There's a few recommendations on here. This, along with our roof and our floor, which would all be Pebble expense, not general fund expenses.
all right, any other further questions or discussions? Hearing none, then we need a motion for approval.
Motion to approve the lighting bid?
Thanks, Brent. Do we-
$189,000?
Yep, the $189,489.
Yep.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Lanny. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll go on to looking at approve a roof repair and bid replacement.
And this is another, Mr. Gish does a really good job of, planning out our facility needs. And both the track football lights and the roof repair, things that he had built into our PEPAL dollars for this year. 2 bids were acquired to replace the west half of the high school building. That current roof is 29 years old, near its maximum life. Central States Roofing of Ames provided a bid of $199,000. Northern Cedar Service of Mason City provided a bid of $248,000. However, when we look at these 2 bids together, there's some things in the $248,000 that we want and we think we need for our roof. That bid included additional work of providing and installing extra fasteners to prevent high winds from pulling up the roof, something we want. The bid also includes an extra barrier to further increase protection from winds, blowing off any of the roofing material. Once that section of the building is updated, there's only one section of the roof left, and that's the gym section. So due to the extra labor and material provided in the Northern Cedar, who has been updating our roofs, or who has updated our roofs in the past, that is the bid that we would recommend, the bid from the Northern Cedar Service.
Any questions? Okay, well, I need a motion then to look to approve the Northern Cedar bid of $248,374.
A motion to approve the Northern Cedar bid.
Thanks. Brent, do we have a second?
Second the motion.
Thanks, Tom. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Roof repair and replacement bid approved. Looking at a flooring bid for the field house now.
In the field house, the flooring on the view deck and the hallways is polished concrete. That's how the bid, or in construction, the plans were always, that's provided a little bit of difficulty in our maintenance already. So Mr. Gish has looked into a different flooring like we installed in our STEM hallway. This flooring would be included in the hallways and the landing, not in the bathrooms. It'll save in maintenance costs in the future. It'll look better. Frazier Flooring out of Dayton, Iowa submitted a bid of $61,000. Now Algona Floor Design submitted a bid of $63,000. About $1,800 difference between the two. Both provide the same product. We do recommend the local bid from Algona Floor Design for $63,550.
So Joe, when I look at what we've got in the PEPAL fund right now, and we start putting these in here, I'm sure you guys have taken that into account, like we'll be getting additional dollars, because right now what we've got doesn't cover what we're talking about.
Yep, monthly.
And, well, April and October are the bid months.
Okay.
Because when everyone pays their taxes, then that's how it gets sent on, it's not divided over the year. So we'll get a larger payment in April.
Yeah.
And I was, go ahead, Brent.
Sorry. In our agenda review, the price on the Algona floor, did
Yeah,
you
it was.
check into that? It was substantially more. on
Yeah,
that.
it's the 63.5.
That's the correct one.
Yeah.
That's the correct one. I was gonna ask
They
that.
You got another
updated, they
one
updated theirs
after you guys were
from
done.
that 72 to 63.5.
So Lisa, do you know, you have any idea what additional funds we'll get in what we're anticipating for PEPAL in April?
I might be able to get it quicker
And then will most of the stuff take place
this summer.
this summer?
In the summer, yeah, I think all of those will take place in the summer.
Lights won't be up for track or anything.
I don't believe so.
Joe, I'm going to ask you a question I should ask in agenda review. I'm not trying to catch you off guard, but you bring up maintenance costs for the floor. And I know it's big scheme of things, $62,000 isn't that much compared to what we paid. I would think polished concrete would be the easiest thing to take care of maintenance-wise.
Yeah, some of our challenges are in the posts. There's some support posts, and we aren't able to get our equipment around those to polish it and keep it polished. That's the challenge that has happened from that. We agree with you, and that's why we had polished concrete in that bid, but how the design actually ended with those posts, and we can't get our equipment around those. If you look at them, you can see we have polished concrete kind of down the center, but off to the sides, it's not so much. So long term, it's probably not protected the same way as the rest of it.
So why not just wait till it gets bad to do the flooring?
I just think right now, it would be to preserve it and make it look the best. And he has this in his budget to do that.
Okay.
About 510 in April only. So there'll be additional, but.
Perfect, so we'll have more than enough to cover. Budget-wise, and we talked about Jeff's budget and that kind of stuff, and I know I don't know, do we have any buses and, like, as we look out and
Yeah.
we're spending a pretty decent chunk of money tonight, what do we foresee on the horizon?
Well, this is about what he'll spend. We allocate close to 800 for his projects per year, and he's below that. I think he's closer to 5.
Okay.
Right now. We will bring a bus recommendation to you, although that won't be paid out of this. That'd be paid out of next year because we pay on delivery for those. So we're in good shape with our Pebble budget.
Okay.
All good questions, so that we all are aware of that, so.
Yeah, it's just a tough goal to swallow,
Yep.
but I'm proud of our schools. It
Yep.
looks, having traveled to many schools for wrestling this year, it's like,
Yep.
we have some of the best facilities of any school.
And maintain the best.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So terrazzo doesn't need polishing, is that? or-
It's not terrazzo as in what we're putting in,
Oh,
it's-
okay, okay.
It's, I'm losing the term.
Design of it?
It's
Trying to remember the set.
laid, it's a laid
Okay,
floor.
okay,
Yeah.
so it's not the shine, it's
It's
not, okay, because that's.
It's not terrazzo like
Okay.
out here, which is.
Tar
this is-
tech. Is what it says, is it like an LVP?
Yes, yes.
Gotcha, okay.
If terrazzo is like, kind of like a concrete, then it's
Yeah,
grinded
it's
down to
ground, yeah.
expose. This is not that. This is
Okay.
a laid floor.
Gotcha, okay.
I make a motion to approve the recommendation on the new flooring go in by Algonquin Floor Design.
Yes, for $63,550.
Yes.
Second.
Thanks, Brent. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. Looking at approve a fundraiser.
Yep, a couple fundraisers. We do think it's best practice to bring all fundraisers to you guys. We think that's the most transparent way to do that. Policy doesn't say that we have to, but that's what we believe is best. There's 2 fundraisers on here. One is for our middle school student council. Teresa Walter is the advisor for that group. They're requesting to hold a bake sale on February 17th. This would raise funds for some middle school fun nights. They had one of those a few weeks ago when it was really cold. The group anticipates raising $500 for that. Then we also have our track. This would be high school boys and girls track. Are requesting approval to hold a fundraiser to purchase track equipment, alternate uniforms, lodging and meals for state events, which cost a lot. We just went through a weekend where we had a lot of hotel rooms, and the expenses is significant for those things. So we're very appreciative of our groups working to cover some of those costs. This fundraiser will be selling popcorn and raising donations, and they anticipate raising $10,000.
Is there reimbursement from the state on
Minor.
state?
Very little, probably, a few $100. We paid thousands this last weekend for a lot of rooms, and we're glad that we are, right? Because if we are, then our kids are doing great things, but it comes with an expense.
Do you know how, when we go, you qualify for state like that, how are we able to even get rooms in hotels? Because do the hotels allotted out for schools, like?
They secure them up usually a year
Yeah,
ahead.
our coaches secure them pretty early, and then if you wouldn't need it, they'd get out of it.
Well,
Yeah.
Some of them have contracts.
Yeah. State wrestling, I was an AD almost 20 years ago. I would sign contracts, at least 6 months in advance for hotel rooms for state wrestling. That's a big deal. And those are locked in. you have those, you're not getting out of them. So if you have less qualifiers, you try to sell them to other schools.
Which never seem to be.
No, you can always do it, that's no big deal.
Good questions? All right, we have a couple fundraisers in front of us. We need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Thank you, Andrew. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Lanny. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Fundraisers approved. Looks like a number of open enrollments.
There's a number of open enrollments. Some of them are just correcting some paperwork that wasn't done
Oh, yeah.
initially. Some of them are students who never lived in the district, but moved into the district, so they're just open enrolling back to the school they've always went to. And then there's some online, but they have all met the requirements for their application.
Right. Do you have a motion for approval?
A motion to approve the open enrollments.
Thanks, Brett. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Todd. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Open enrollment's approved. Looking at resignations.
We have Chris Kaler resigning from maintenance, Samantha Hanselman resigning from her middle school teacher associate position, Trevor Arnold from assistant varsity football coach, Brooke Kramer resigning from the behavior lead position at Lucia Wallace, Blair Bradley resigning his high school business teacher position, Drew Severson resigning from middle school girls track, and Rudy Week from middle school football coach to take one of the high school football positions.
Okay.
Is Mr. Severson coaching track this spring?
He is. He actually is resigning the girls to take the boys this spring. And then we'll have his contract in there and the new girls one. So we had a girls opening, or we had a boys opening. Drew's going to take that for this year. And we have his replacement for the girls. So he's just switching from boys to
Do we
girls.
have somebody lined up for the girls?
Yep. We'll have it here next
No, it's
item.
not.
Make a motion to approve the resignations.
Thanks, Todd. Do we have a second?
Second the motion.
Thanks, Tom. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resignation's approved. Now we'll go into the contracts.
Yeah, so we have Kara Arrowwood, high school science, taking the place of retiring Steve Young. Courtney Stroman, middle school girls, taking Drew Severson, who's moving to middle school boys, and then Rudy Week, assistant varsity football coach.
How are we on the high school math position?
We got candidates. I think Jared's working to set his committees up, hopefully for next week-ish is what we're thinking. I know he is ready to move into that, with his pool, into interviewing.
Good. Okay. Make a motion to approve the contract.
Thank you, Todd. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Brent. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Contract's approved.
Todd's like, math, as you know, is so hard to fill.
Yeah.
And I've talked to several other districts, and they're like, they can't even get an applicant.
Yeah, that's, I know.
Yep. All right, we'll need a motion and a roll call vote to go into closed session to evaluate the professional competency of an individual, basically our superintendent. Performance review, mid-year review, so that's under section 21.5, 1I.
As long as everybody's taking their training.
Yeah, I have.
Well, Jay's the only one who hasn't, and he's not here, so.
Oh, maybe that might be, never thought of that. All right, we do have a motion from
Right.
Brent, and we have a second.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. We can start the roll call vote. Or-
Brett Owen.
Present here,
Andrea
aye.
Andrea Vinci.
Yes.
Rodney Davis.
Yes.
Todd LaGuarche.
Yes.
Laney Mitchell.
Yes.
Tom Nugent.
Yes.
All right, we will be moving into closed session, so we'll ask everybody to thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for being here. But